Hey everyone, I'm Tori Davis and I'm the product design manager for the Foundations Group. Today I'm going to give an update on navigation and it'll be focused on visibility settings. I did two previous video updates on how our visibility settings affect the navigation within projects. So if you haven't had a chance to look at that, you may want to. Okay, so let's start today by looking again at this epic that is for consistently allowing features within our project navigation to be disabled. Quick shout out to Anoop for leaving this comment here after my last video, where he asked about the cognitive load of adding all of these features to the visibility settings and if there are any downsides. He's exactly right. Even if we look at the visibility settings that we have today, we have this long list that can be hard to parse, and especially hard if we continue to add more options. So for that reason, I went ahead and I created this design issue where we can look at it more holistically and where we can ideate on a new UI that really supports adding more visibility settings, as well as takes into consideration all of the dependencies that, that occur when enabling and disabling some of our settings within the navigation. We also have this other design issue, which is focused around addressing when users, especially new users, are navigating between different projects and maybe what is in the left nav changes between those projects because of what we allow to disable. So we want to think through that problem here, come up with a solution, research it a little bit, and then drive it forward. So these two design issues are two that we want to tackle coming up. Before doing that, I did go ahead and create some sub-epics within the main visibility setting epic that we were just looking at. So there's sub-epics for each of the different navigation sections that you find within a project. And then within those sub-epics, there's issues for allowing users to disable the individual submenu items. Within each of these sub-epics, I pinged the designers who are the DRIs for these areas. I provided a summary of the objective, and then I'm asking each of them to review whether or not it makes sense for each of these specific areas to be disabled individually. And if so, then we'll want to list out any dependencies that there may be. And it's also really awesome because the designers have already started adding a lot of thoughts. So just shout out to them. Thank you so much for taking a look at this and helping out. So let's look at an individual issue. Within each of these individual issues, I list the problem to solve and link to the main epic. The user experience goal is listed, and then there's a section for further details, which is where we'll want to list the dependencies. So for example, when disabling pipelines, you would also want to disable editor jobs and schedules. I think it was the last video that I did, I talked a little bit more about some of the dependencies that I'm aware of. And this effort is really to get all the teams who are closer to these sections to provide their expertise. From there, we'll be able to map all the dependencies and go back to this more holistic design exploration issue to start creating an experience that's really just more intuitive and thoughtful and doesn't introduce that cognitive load that Anoop was talking about in his comment. So that's it for today. Similar to my last video, I'll be participating in the CEO Shadow again next week. So look for an update from me in 2 weeks. Until then.